Hi, this is Sharon McAllister, and this is my second video in my series on child development that I'm making for my family and closest friends. So the introduction was previous, and today what I want to do is to just give you a very brief overview of typical neurodevelopment. And the reason that I'm choosing to do that for you today is because any future videos that I make really truly are going to be based on you possessing this knowledge. And there's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of books you can get, and I encourage you to do whatever makes you feel comfortable as far as reading those. There's a lot of different websites you can go to, and some of them are not necessarily based on what we know as true neurodevelopment. There are various theories and presentations. And so I want to just make sure that you all know, because I know, and I want you to have that knowledge. What is typical neurodevelopment? It's really basic. That's the good news. So the first thing that I want you to know is movement. And what you'll see is the developmental stages of your child go from cephalo to caudal. Cephalo is CEPHALO, to caudal is CAUDAL. And so it means from the head down to the feet. As a child starts to develop, you'll see skill from the head and the neck, and then move its way down from the shoulder girdle, torso, hips, knees, down to refined movement in the feet. So cephalocaudal. And then the other primary pathway, which is occurring at the same time, is from proximal, which is at your midline, your core, out to distal, which would be down through your fingertips and your toes. Incidentally, eye movement and eye control kind of falls within that distal category, though it's not called that, but you need proximal skills, proximal stability and strength in order for your eyes actually to continue to develop ocular motor wise within a typical neurodevelopmental pattern. Some people forget that. So then, in addition to cephalocaudal and proximal to distal, the other primary thing you need for typical development and typical neurodevelopment is the sensory system developing along the path that we need. The primary sense that is the basis for all movement is the vestibular sense. Vestibular is what we would all know as balance. It's controlled by some semicircular canals in your inner ear, which send the information through your nerves to your brain for your brain to be able to process it, send it back to your body to make the reactions that you need in order to process movement. Now, that doesn't mean that it's movement when a child starts getting up and moving. It means the movement as you're moving your child about also. So every time that you have your child in your arms and you're bending over to put them down, or you're reaching up to get something in the cupboard while they're on you, or all of that is really important input to the vestibular system. All of that natural movement that occurs through handling your baby up and down and over and around and in and out, all of that is critical opportunities for the vestibular system to develop typically. Okay, enough on the vestibular system. So the second one that you're not familiar with most likely would be the proprioceptive system. And the proprioceptive system is the system that processes where your body is in space. So if you closed your eyes, do you know where your arms are? Where are your fingers? Where is your torso? All of that without the use of your vision to help you process it. That's the proprioceptive system. Very primitive, not as primitive as the vestibular system, but very primitive system, and you need typical proprioceptive processing in order to make appropriate responses in your environment. The other systems you're more familiar with, so we have vestibular and proprioceptive, then we go to visual, auditory, gustatory, which is the sense of taste, olfactory, which is the sense of smell, and tactile, which is your ability to perceive touch. And that would be through your skin, as well as when it gets a little deeper, sometimes through your proprioceptive system. But so tactile would be your sense of touch. There's another system that's gaining a lot more conversation lately. It's called the enteric processing system, and that has to do with systems like digestion and how those organs and the nerves around those organs and are perceiving their process and their function. And it's kind of gaining a little more attention within the world of development, because we have a lot of people, as you would know if you've ever had digestion problems or anything with some of those internal systems. It doesn't really matter how well everything's working if your insides do not feel properly, and you can't process information correctly. You're not able to function within your world. So the enteric system is another sensory system that's getting a little bit more information lately. Why I want you to know all of these primary things is because my subsequent videos that are going to talk about equipment or ways to stimulate development at various stages, any topic really is built on understanding typical neurodevelopment, and it really isn't. It's not tricky. That's the really cool thing. The part that's really tricky is not letting the outside world that really doesn't have the best interest of neurodevelopment, your child's neurodevelopment, make you think that you need to be adding things in or doing things that really are not based on any science about neurodevelopment. And the thing that is really spectacular about neurodevelopment is it makes it very simple for you. You can't skip any of the steps without another skill later on being compromised. So it helps you really understand why you want to facilitate certain things at certain times in your child's development, because in the long run it will benefit them developmentally in skill set and their ability to learn academics easily. All of those things are all based on these very, very early, these birth to 2, and particularly birth to 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, opportunities for typical neurodevelopment. So that's all I want you to know about today, and I'm so excited for you all once again to be raising children. Congratulations, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.